Coffee with Covered Bridges. I'm Dot Roan, broker owner of Century 21 Covered Bridges Realty. And with me today are
Angela Young, Realtor.
Sue Barczyk, broker owner.
Renee Soul, Realtor.
And we're going to talk to you today about contract to closing. You find a house that you want to buy, but how do you get to the closing table and collect the keys and own a home?
So the first thing I do is talk to my buyers about assembling a team of professionals who are going to get them from contract to close. Most importantly, and the person who's going to make that process go the smoothest for you is your lender. And then your home inspector and your title company, and eventually at the end we have to bring the homeowner's insurance agent into play. But assembling all of these key people together is going to ensure a smooth transition.
During the first 7 days of the contract is when you typically work with the lender. That's when you're going to choose a local lender. You're going to meet with them or talk to them on the phone, give them all the personal information that they need, and then provide the documentation that they want to be able to proceed with the loan.
The next step of the process is the due diligence period. This is when you're having your inspections done, when you're able to go in, have a professional inspector come in, look at the home, check and see if there's any safety or health concerns. And this is typically a 14 to 21 day period. And this is just when you can find any of those unforeseen problems with the home and give you the opportunity to have repairs made or just to decide if this is really the home for you.
And keep in mind too, during that due diligence period, during the inspections, they're looking for health and safety issues, as you said, Renee. It's not a punch list. You know, the sellers are typically not going to repair every door lock, every outlet, you know, every little tiny thing with that house. They're looking for major things or something that you as a buyer didn't notice when you were, you know, contracting to purchase that home.
Yeah, they're not looking for normal wear and tear in that situation.
And then when we get the reports back, we are going to have the opportunity to negotiate those major concerns and sign off on the things that are not significant, that are minor.
Also during the due diligence period is the appraisal. A lender will hire an appraiser, and the appraisal is done to protect the lender's interest, because the lender's going to be granting the loan, so they have to be assured that the value is in the property that the buyer is willing to pay. And if the appraisal comes in short, then that will have to be dealt with at that time.
I think buyers really feel more comfortable though too, even though it's done for the sake of the lender. Once the buyer knows that it's appraised for the value that they're willing to pay, I think that's a degree of comfort for the buyer.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely, and once you have that appraisal back, that's when you will be looking at having your loan approval coming in, that the bank knows that the property is worth what you're paying for it, and the loan approval is then submitted to the seller so they know that you're meeting all your deadlines in your contract and everything's moving smoothly on to settlement.
And also the buyer agent and the seller agent work together with the lender through that process, trying to get that loan approval on time.
And then from the loan approval, you're going to move right into the title commitment stage of the contract, where the attorney comes into play, and that's where they do your title search and they issue insurance to make sure that you're protected for as long as you own the property, that no one can come back and say that there were liens that weren't settled. And then they prepare all the documents for closing and actually, you know, call everybody in a round table on the day of settlement.
And keep in mind too, it doesn't have to be an attorney. In Pennsylvania, it can be a title company, and we have very good title companies in the area. So it's really up to the individual, to the buyer, if they choose to have an attorney represent them, or if they choose a title company to issue the title insurance and conduct the closing.
One of the very last things that comes into play is your homeowner's insurance. You need to make sure that you have a binder in place when you go to settlement, so that once you purchase the property, your interest in that property and your lender's interest in that property are covered by insurance. Also, you need to consider utilities. If there's public water and public sewer, you need to get that in your name. If the electric needs to be changed in your name, the gas, any sort of utility that's going to be present in that house when you purchase that you're going to be responsible for, your name has to go on for the day of settlement.
Be aware of smart home technology. That's something new that we're dealing with, And I've already heard stories where sellers did not disconnect their smart home technology, and they had a little problem during the transaction, so they were messing with the buyer after closing and controlling their heat and their air because they didn't disconnect their smart home technology. So be careful of that.
And at the end of the very end of the process, there's going to be a lot of phone calls, texts, and emails coming in from your lender, from your insurance agent. I know I'm guilty. If I see a number that I don't recognize, I don't always answer it. But at the end of the process, you need to be answering every phone call because it could be a very important phone call. It could be someone looking for that last piece of documentation that's going to get you to the closing table. Not providing that can cost or cause delays.
Yeah, that's right. So I think that's a wrap. Thank you for joining us today. Please visit our YouTube channel at Century 21 Cover Bridges Realty, where we'll be sharing tips for buyers and sellers throughout the year, and hit the subscribe button. And also check our Facebook business page at Century 21 Cover Bridges. So thanks, and until next time, bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.